Hi, everyone. I'm Donna Brahms, as Josh said. I am also president of the Iowa Farmers Market Association and past president of the Iowa Honey Association. So I've worked with quite a few customers. I ran the Iowa Honey Producers Association booth at the Iowa State Fair for about 15 years. And so I've worked with a lot of customers. Customers aren't always correct. I know it always says, your customer is always right. In my opinion, I'm sorry to say they aren't always right. And it's our job to educate the customers. And so you need to do it gently. You need to smile. That's the number one thing when you're standing behind your table. These are my workers, part of them anyway. This is my son's family, Steve, Diane, Joanne, Jack, and Nora, and they help with our Thursday market. They also help in the gardens. Of course, that's Steve and my son over there, Steve. And everybody thinks that he and I are married because we do the markets together. And it's like, no, that's my son. But smile and be professional. We have shirts, so we always wear them. That way the customers know who to ask a question of and who to talk to. And we always try to wear them. Nora, the young one, she's always upset because she doesn't always have a market shirt. And she was mad one day. She had a red shirt on, but it didn't say 3B Farms on it. And she was, my sign. She wanted to know why her shirt didn't say it. So we need to get some smaller ones made for her. But be professional. Try to if you don't have shirts, if you have aprons or Farmers Market Association shirts, but do something to set you apart so the people that are coming by know who that they can ask questions to. Whether you're selling your homemade jams, jellies, meats, veggies from your family farm, or baked goods, non-food items such as candles and soap, how you represent yourself tells what your company is about. So you need to be careful. I have one customer here in Council Bluffs that I cannot wait on. This person drives me crazy. And my kids know that as soon as they see this person, that they're the ones that are gonna wait on that person, because I don't know what it is, but I just can't get along with this one person. You need to address your customers quickly, try to get them through, because some want to stand and talk, and you don't want to just blow them off, but you need to be able to keep everybody flowing. So you need to do it quickly. Make sure your signs and banners are visible. We always have a 3B Farms sign up. We have fresh produce. This sign right here is that we accept SNAP, and our sign for the Farmers Market Nutrition Program is always available too. This way people can look at your signs and read it. Doesn't mean they're going to follow what it says or notice it, because they'll say, do you take credit cards? And we'll say, yes, we do. There's our sign. And so always have them. One thing that we do is we count our change back. If someone gives us money, we keep the money in our hand them back their change, but count it back to them. My grandchildren can do it, so everybody else can do it too. So that's one thing that we make sure, and you wouldn't believe the number of people that go, you can count change. And it's like, yes. But that way you are showing that customer that they mean something to you, and you want to make sure that you're doing it right. To keep track of our sales, we have a notebook and we write everything down. And on Thursday, when we're quite busy at our market, we have one person just write down what we sell. The other people tell them and give the money back. So it just makes it so that it's an easier process for us. Need to be organized. have your setup. You notice these aren't farmers markets, but we always have our signs. We always have our green tablecloths. We have our red shirts. So no matter where we set up, people realize that it's us. And it's just kind of a trademark. Our canopies are always the same. You need to be consistent with your customers. Set up at the same place in the farmer's market, if at all possible. So that way they know where they can find you. And that seems to make a big difference to a lot of people. This is one thing that is very important. Engage your customers. These people can walk by outside your booth all day long. If you don't say something to, hi, how are you today? Hello, something to engage them, they can just keep walking. But if you talk to them, it a lot of times makes them feel like, oh, maybe I should stop and look at the stuff that they have to offer. Sometimes they still will go down to the other end and then come back, which is fine. But we've engaged them and we're pretty sure they'll come back. And I say this over and over and everybody gets tired of hearing it. Anyway, the family, they repeat it too. It's, hi, can we help you? If we can answer any questions, make sure you ask us, or help you find something, let us know. That way they know that they can ask a question. There are no dumb questions. There are some really strange questions. We get calls since we have an orchard in March. People want to know if they can come pick apples. Can you pick apples in March in Iowa? No, there are no apples. And so you've got to delicately let these people know that just because it's in the grocery store doesn't mean it's available. And we grow everything from asparagus and apples to zucchini. And so we have a wide range, and somebody might want something that isn't quite ready. You need to know your products. But engage your customers, learn their names. You know, make sure that if you have a regular customer and it's been there, and the person has been there more than once or twice, find out that person's name. You know, say, hi, I don't think we've ever been introduced. My name is Donna and I'm a part owner in 3B Farms. You know, I notice you come here a lot. I'd like to know your name, and use that name. We have one customer here in Council Bluffs, and she follows us on Facebook. She replies to everything, and she's the first one in line for our tomatoes, and she is extremely loyal, and so we know her name and we know exactly what she wants every week. A lot of times your customers are going to ask a question that they already think they know the answer to. Are you organic? And I say, no, we're not organic, but we use as little pesticides as possible. We have an orchard. There is only one orchard in the state of Iowa that is organic, and he would not be organic if he didn't have Iowa State to help him. Organics is not possible with us because we spray our apple trees. We tried it one year, not spraying, because people wanted natural stuff. No one would buy anything. And it's like, you do not, they want perfect food. And so it's like, no, we are not organic, but we try to use as little as possible. And did you know that organics can use chemicals? And these people are flabbergasted. What they use is a non-synthetic. They don't use conventional, but they can use non-synthetic, natural occurring chemicals, pesticides, and some of those are extremely caustic. So once you educate your people, you know, organic isn't always best. And if you hold up two apples, one organic and one that's not, you can't tell the difference by looking at them. So organic isn't always, but some people will only buy organic, and that's their choice. But we try to educate them and tell them why they don't. We also get the question all the time, do you make your own honey? No, our bees make it. And people look at you like, oh, did I just ask that question? And, you know, so we try to make it fun. We try to make it educational, but talk to your customers. You know, try to engage them. We can't read their minds, and sometimes you need to let them know that the information that they think they have, that they learned on the internet, is not true. And just because it's on the internet does not make it true, and especially for growing vegetables and producing honey. So we try to educate, and it really seems to help when we engage the customer. But then again, you have to be careful that you're not talking to any one customer too long and making the other customers unhappy because they're standing in line. You need to know your products. You see on our apples, this sign isn't real clear, but it lists the variety and it tells the characteristics of that variety. The zucchini just says zucchini, just like this one does here. And we put that on all of our products so that they can see that. They're still going to ask us what our products cost, and they're still going to ask questions, but some of them would prefer to read it, and some of them want to ask questions. So if you have it, know your varieties, because they're going to ask. They're going to ask, what kind are those radishes? Cherry Bell, French Breakfast, White Icicle, and Salad Giant. They're going to ask you what they are. So learn that, educate everybody that's working with you. Our grandkids can answer that because they help plan it. They know everything about it too. Not all varieties, not all vegetables are ready at the same time. We have a hydroponic greenhouse that grows our tomatoes, and so we usually have tomatoes right away at the first May markets. And people go, how did you get them? You know, you had to truck them in somewhere. No, it's because we grew them. And then we ask them to come out and visit us. If they would like to know where our stuff is grown, how we grow it, come out, visit us, and then we can give them some information so that they can follow us on Facebook or wherever. This is our activity schedule for the fall. We're listed in the Southwest Iowa Farmers Markets. We have our website, and always have your business cards available to hand out. That goes along with learning their names. If you learn your customers' names, you can teach them how to follow you, how to find you, how to contact you if they'd like to order something, to make sure that you bring it with you the next market. You know, use social media, use your website, use anyway, even if you have to write it down on our book that we keep track of all of our sales, write down a customer wants to know this or wants us to bring this. That way we know for the next week what we need to bring. And you're never too young and you're never too old to give great customer service. Our granddaughter Nora was at our store one Saturday, and she decided, she'd watched us so many times, she got out a sheet to put on the table, and she moved all the potatoes that we were selling up onto the table. She put some potato chips that we were selling for snacks for kids, and she was selling at the market. So she made her market table, and you can see she's smiling too. But she was so excited because she was going to sell something. She gets behind, we had her brother's popcorn out too for Boy Scouts, and she thought, well, no, she needed to sell potatoes. So engage your family. She walks behind our farmer's market booth there with a bag, and she goes, help you? Help you? Because she wants to. She asked the other day if we could go to the big market. That's what she calls the Thursday market here in town, because she just loves to meet the people, and she's been doing it. You need to talk to people, you know, offer literature, do whatever you need to do to engage the customers. And finally, Dr. Maya Angelou touched on a sweet spot. That one doesn't show up real well, but it says in the human experience with her phrase, people will never forget how you made them feel. And that's true. You know, people will remember that and will come back to you if they think you are honest with them and you help them out and make it a good experience for them. And this works both ways. It's good for the people and it's good for you. You know, just try not to get angry. That's why I walk away from that one customer. And just help your people. Help them understand what goes into growing this stuff, how hard it is to get it in the ground. Like this year, I don't know what we're going to do, but I don't think we'll be ready in May with all of our stuff, with all the snow. But make sure that they know that it's coming. This will be available. Everything about how you do stuff, invite them out to your farm, and people will never forget how you make them feel. So I'll answer questions later on if you have any questions.
Okay, so as he said, I am Kylie Vonnahme with the Omaha Farmers Market. I'll just give a little bit of a backstory. We got established in 1994 in the old market. And then in 2010, we opened a new location in Exarban Village. And in 2011, we opened a smaller market at the Charles Drew Health Center, which we no longer do, but we did open that market specifically for WIC users, since Charles Drew was a pickup location for WIC coupons. And so it was just very convenient for people to go and do that. So at our Saturday location, the old market, we have approximately 90 or more, depending on the Saturday, vendor booths. And on Sunday, we have over 120. I did quickly just want to say to Donna's point about education and how important that is. And it depends on all farmers markets rules and regulations, but ours were very passionate about keeping it local, and also anyone who is selling. So if you're a vendor that's selling, say you don't own the business, but you're involved in the process, you know all about the growing or all about how they produce that product, then you're able to vend in their booth. So family, coworkers, but if you're just there working and subbing and you don't know anything about the product, we don't allow that. So it's all about education, because customers really, that's what they want. That's what they go to a farmer's market for. So I'll talk a little bit about some of the special events we do. It does depend a lot on the size of your market, the needs of your community, the size of your community. But I'll just give you some examples since we are a larger community and our market is larger. I'll just give you some examples on what I can do, and hopefully that can spark some ideas maybe for your farmers markets. So about 3 years ago, we started partnering with Big Garden out of Omaha. They're a community garden. And we were partnering with Cooking Matters too, but they recently closed. But now it's a partnership with the Big Garden and Nebraska Extension, and they provide market tours. And they do it at all, well, not all the markets in Omaha, but a good handful of markets where they go, and it's mostly just educational for people who've never been to a farmer's market, don't know what to expect, or maybe they're not comfortable with it because they don't know what to expect. We have two types of tours. One tour is general public. The tours are up to 20 people, so it's very intimate. The other tour is specific for EBT users, with coupons, farmers market nutrition coupons. So especially with EBT users, we're trying to tap into that market just a little bit more, because we really want to educate those users that they can come to our market and they can get produce and they can get good food. So those tours have been really beneficial, and those fill up quickly. And it's kind of word of mouth then, so that we're reaching different audiences within the community that then can spread the word to their friends and family. So those tours have actually been very beneficial. And just to kind of incentivize people to do it, the Big Garden offers them like a market tote bag, $10 in market tokens, some recipes, some different produce that maybe they've never heard of, and just kind of how to prepare those certain things. And that's kind of what they show them at the markets is, when you go to a vendor, this is how you pay with, certain tokens or cash or whatever it may be. And here's the different varieties of produce, and here's what you can do with them. So that's one thing that we keep growing that. And I think last year we had 3 tours at each of our markets. So hopefully we can keep growing that. But we're really thankful to the Big Garden and Nebraska Extension for helping us out with that, and going to other markets in the community as well, so that they know their options. They also talk about transportation during those market tours, which is very helpful, because if you don't have a car, or if it is too far for you, then they talk about, public transportation and the locations, what market's closer to you, just to help them in all aspects on getting to the market, how to pay, what to look for. So that's one of our special events. We also, another thing that we do is we have a partnership with Food Day Omaha, and we meet every year because they always have their event in our old market location, just right neighbors with it. It's basically part of the market. So that's something where as the farmers market, we don't really have to do any work for that, except we help them cross promote. So it's a nice opportunity. It's Food Day Omaha, so it aligns with our mission, and we can kind of co-promote and just help each other out in that aspect. And then we do see large crowds that day. So that's, and if there's an organization in your community that, does want to have a food related event, maybe think about having it at your market or, right near your market. We also, this is sort of a special event, not really, but we have a radio partner that we work with, and they do live radio remotes where they come out with their tent, they do live spots. So for 2 hours, they're on the radio talking about the market, what's going on in the market, and it's just a very lively feel when they're right there in the action. So that helps a lot as well. We don't do a lot of these. We try to, but we do what we call deal days. And this is a little bit more work just because you have to reach out to all the vendors. And basically what we do is we see if they want to have a deal of the day. And we'll do it. One year we did it on Father's Day. So it was like a Father's Day deal of the day at the farmer's market. And we'd reach out to all of our vendors. Usually out of our vendors, we get maybe 20, which is pretty good. I mean, people would come to the information booth. We'd have all the vendors, kind of the area that they're located in, and what their deal of the day is. So the vendor can come up with whatever deal they want, and then we'll just promote it. And they have to pick up the sheet at our info booth and then bring it to the vendors, and then they get that deal. And that we just promote through our social media. And we've gotten a little feedback from vendors when we do that a few people come to their booth. So it is beneficial. It's not one that's really drawing people, but we've tried it a few times, and we're going to keep trying to see maybe what can we do better, or maybe we can add in like $5 tokens, but that all comes down to funding. But just looking on ways to improve that, to maybe enhance people to come down to the market more. We also do milestone celebrations. So, every 5 years, like last year was our 25th. So we had a live band out there. We had a photo booth that an artist, we partnered with an artist that helped us make that, had our logo on it, super cute. So just something easy like that. We also always have what we call buskers at the market. And so they're just performers. So if they have a acoustic guitar or violins, we have usually on average 5 to 6 per market, which really just kind of makes an atmosphere, which really helps as well. Also, could I touch a little on customer satisfaction too? Okay. So we offer token. We have a token program where we have $5 credit tokens, which is used just like a $5 bill. People come to our information booth and can swipe their card. A lot of vendors are moving now towards being able to swipe cards, but there are still a few, that like cash and don't have the option to do a card. So this is just our option for if you don't have any cash and you want to go and buy that from that vendor, you can come to our information booth and get the $5 credit token. There is a $1 transaction fee, but we tell people it's cheaper than an ATM. There is also an ATM nearby, which is nice. So we can tell them if you want to take the ATM, you can do that as well. But it's just an option for people. And a lot of people get them as gifts too, which is nice. And our tokens never expire. They can use them at both our Sunday and our Saturday market. So they're super handy. We also have SNAP tokens. So those are for EBT users that come to our information booth. They can swipe their card, and if they we also have another program called the Double Up Food Bucks program. We started that last year, and it was very successful for us. And so we were able to match them up to $10, so dollar for dollar. So if they buy $5 in SNAP tokens, on top of that, they'd get an extra $5 in Double Up Food Bucks. If they buy 10, they got 10. If they bought 20, they got 10. So 10 max. But so that really helps to get people down because they know they have options, and it really puts, especially for those EBT users, it puts a good chunk of change in their pocket to get fresh local food. Another thing that we've found that customers really like, and I'm sure it goes on all levels of farmers markets and the size of their market or whatever that may be, or size of the community, but just the mix of the vendors. Now there are some markets that are produce only. We are not a produce only market. So we do let in, snack foods, prepared foods, meats, cheeses, dairy, jams, jellies, all of that. So just having a good mix, and each year, we always look at our mix and see, we always have to see how many spaces we have available for new vendors. And when those come in, produce always comes first. That is our top priority. But then after that, what is there a need for in the market? What don't we have that we could put in? And then we also have weekly vendors, which we keep on our Sunday market. We keep probably 10 spaces open just for weekly vendors. So that we're always rotating in new vendors. And so there's always a different mix. On Saturday, there's probably 5 to 8. But on any given Saturday, we're probably filling, just because seasoned vendors, if they cancel, we have a backup as well. So we probably fill on an average 15 spaces on Saturday and 20 to 30 spaces on Sunday. So there's always a good mix every weekend. Another thing too is your information booth, making sure that it is visible. Last year, we finally, because people were like, we can't find your information booth. I'm like, that makes sense, because we don't have signage on the top of our tent. We had it like on our table, so people weren't finding us. So simple piece of signage just across the tent that says info booth. So that really helped. We also hire on-site managers. So we have three on-site managers at each location. So it really helps. One person always has to be in the info booth. The others are out talking to vendors. And that really helps too, to kind of get that interaction with vendors and the managers and building good relationships. And so it helps having, at least for our markets, for how large they are, at least 3 people on site every day. We also, another, I guess, a just piece of advice would be, we always ask ourselves after the season, you know, what could we have done better this year? What things are maybe issues in a sense that we can find solutions for? And I'll give you an example. One was parking, but that was back in 2016 when Park Omaha, or the city, changed the meters on Saturday, so it was no longer free. And the only parking issues we have is on Saturday, because our Sunday market and Zarban, all the parking is free. Saturday, you do have to pay for anywhere you park. So our solution to that was, one, to create a good relationship with Park Omaha and to partner with them, cross-promote, and also having the opportunity for them to once in a while have discount codes for us. So they'll say, you know, oh, if you're going down to the farmer's market, use this code and you get free parking today. So things like that where we can cross-promote that. We also, when it did come into effect that you were having to pay for parking on Saturdays, we did make a promotional video that I'd just like to show you, so you could just get an idea. The Omaha Farmers Market in the historic Old Market in downtown Omaha is a community tradition you don't want to miss. We want to make your experience a great one, starting with educating you, our valued customer, on the most convenient and affordable parking options within walking distance of the market. Omaha Park 4 is just right across from the market for only $1 an hour.
Rough estimate, how long would you say you were looking for a parking spot?
1 minute.
One minute, honestly.
Like, we pulled up, and usually we'll do laps and cruise around and wait for somebody to pull out. But as soon as I saw this, it just pulled in and we're good to go.
2 blocks away, the landmark parking garage is only $2 the first hour and $1 after that. Metered parking can be found all around the market. And have you heard of the Pay by Phone parking app? You can use this app to pay for parking without leaving your vehicle. You can receive text messages and in-app reminders before your meter expires. You can even extend or cancel your parking duration through a text or phone call.
The affordability is very, very good. I know initially kind of coming from the West Coast and out in LA, I was out there for about 8 years. It's night and day. So it was very easy to find a spot. I think we paid maybe $1.50 total for maybe an hour and a half. So yeah, really no complaints.
To learn more, visit parkomaha.com. So join us every Saturday through October 15th from 8 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Parking is just your first step, and you could say it's a breeze. But once your car is parked, you have all of this to enjoy. So we promoted that really heavily in 2016. And we think it helped. I mean, we don't have any hard data on if it did anything, but I think customers at least appreciated that we were putting in the effort to help you find parking and let you know that it's not as big of a deal that you make in your head, and that there is actually, it's not like you're paying $5. It is actually really affordable. And another solution of ours too was we found out that parking, or the meters, didn't start charging until 9 a.m. So our market opens at 8. So we promote really heavily during the season that if you come right away, you get your produce, you don't have to pay for parking. So that's just another way that we promoted it. And then we promote every year, we promote the park app very heavily as well, because it is, I've used it, it is very easy. So we try to get people to get on that as well. Also for markets too, Signage again, depending on the size of your market, for us, signage is very important. We also have signage on site promoting the Park Omaha app. We have signage promoting our sponsors and thanking them. So that's always really important. And then also one thing that we have heard from customers that they want to see more of at our markets is prepared food. We don't have a ton of that. So we are looking to get a little bit more of that. It is a little bit more difficult just because with the health department, and it is expensive for those vendors to participate because of the health department fees and permits. So but that is something we're hopefully trying to expand on. But it is kind of up to the vendors and if they, are able to afford that or want to put in that effort. So we might have a few new this year, we're hoping. So that is one thing that they said, we just, while we stroll, we like to have a little something, to eat from local vendors. So that's one thing we've been working on. Let's see. Another thing too is just having a good website, having all your vendors up on your website, having an informational website about talking about, what's in season at this time, recipes. We had a blog for a while where we partnered with Muller, who is a local she wrote a cookbook. So she's very good at cooking and she's very good at using local ingredients, and she partnered with a bunch of farms in our area it was like a book slash cookbook where she highlighted some of these local vendors and talked about different recipes she made with those vendors' products. So we partnered with her one year and did a blog on what you can do with seasonal produce and things like that. So that really helped. Social media too, we like to have a really good presence on that. Even in the off season, we try to post as much as we can. But again, being educational and purposeful with your posts and not just posting to post. Especially in our off season or now leading up to the market, we like to just share a lot of vendor posts and just getting our vendors at the forefront of, the customer and market goers' eyes. So other than that, we'll also with social media, we do throughout the season do a lot of giveaways. And that can be, we usually will get like a basket and we'll reach out to the vendors, see what they want to donate into it. And it'll just be like a market goodie basket. So we do just social media giveaways. We, give away some market tokens, give away t-shirts, things like that. So I think that's all I have. If anyone has any questions.
I'm Holly Benson Muller with Kitchen Council. We were really excited to host this training, so happy to have you all here and connecting with those of you that are online. A little bit about Kitchen Council. We are a shared commercial kitchen for food entrepreneurs. We are based here in Council Bluffs, Iowa, but serve kind of the greater Omaha and Council Bluffs area in supporting food businesses and food entrepreneurs in this location. So we just launched a year ago, February of 2018. So we're celebrating our first year anniversary. It's a true community initiative where we are a not-for-profit organization, but we're driven by both chambers in Omaha and the Council Bluffs Chamber, as well as the Iowa West Foundation. ConAgra has gotten involved at the corporate level, and then initially we received a grant from the state of Iowa for overhead to get up and running. We see food businesses kind of fall into three different categories. The first one being catering and aspiring restaurateurs. The second being anything mobile, so mobile food trucks. And then the third being packaged goods, so folks who are wanting to produce a product and get it on the shelves of local or national grocery stores. Outside of the asset of the kitchen, we are building out curriculum, which is our big initiative and effort this year to formally launch that so that we can help food businesses either launch their concept or kind of grow and scale their business. We offer monthly memberships, unlike a lot of shared kitchens around here and kind of at the national level. And part of that is we're not looking for hobbyists, but we're looking for people with really valid concepts who are serious. If someone is wanting to come in so that it's more of a seasonal basis and they're wanting to vend at a farmer's market, we're certainly willing to kind of work with them. Our hope is that businesses come in for an amount of time, TBD on that, whether it's 6 months or a year and a half, and then eventually have an exit plan. Maybe it's an aspiring restaurateur that's moving into brick and mortar, or a baker moving into a bake shop, or someone with that packaged product that I mentioned that has grown so much that they're needing co-packers. Those are just a few examples. So in talking about customer satisfaction from a different standpoint, part of that curriculum that we're building out is working with those businesses to really, in that initial validation state, making sure that they vet their concept and they're talking to people and they're testing out their products, right? Whether it's with family or friends, or doing kind of a pop-up and getting some really solid feedback to be able to kind of look at their product and make tweaks and changes where necessary. We're learning also a big role that I think we'll have moving forward, hopefully in the area, is navigating the health department. So because we're based in Council Bluffs, we work with the Iowa Department of Inspections and Appeals, but we're also, as I'm sure you know, working with Kylie, the health departments. We're building relationships on both sides of the river, because someone might, whether they're based in Nebraska or based here, they're processing out of Iowa, so they receive their Iowa Health Department license, but they may want to participate in a farmer's market over in Douglas County or somewhere else in Iowa. And that's a lot to navigate. And I think it can be really daunting for someone who's trying to get a business off the ground, just understanding how to navigate the process and all of the nuances, but all of the fees that are associated with that too. So there's a lot of opportunity for an incubator like Kitchen Council. So we're excited about what's to come. We're in a temporary space right now, but moving into a new kitchen come January 2020. So if you're needing a commissary, a kitchen to work out of, and/or business assistance, please reach out to us. You can find information on kitchencouncil.org. Again, happy to have you all here and be able to host you in our space.